Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Balabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Balabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Balabha Girivardhari Nabha Yasodhanandana Brajajanarandana Brajajanarandana Yasodhanandana Brajajanarandana Jamanatira Vanachadi Yamunatira Vanachadi Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Girivardhari Jasodhanandana Brajajanarandana Jasodhanandana Brajajanarandana Jamunatira Vanachadi Yamunatira Vanachadi Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayom Vishnu Pad Paramahansa Parividagacharya Astatarasata Sri Srimad His Divine Grace Sri Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Gora Premanandi Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya This morning, the plan is to complete this one verse that has gotten a lot of attention from our acharyas. That's Canto 10, Chapter 38, Text 22. That verse is spoken by Shukadeva Goswami, and the next verse will continue Akrura's contemplations, but interrupted in the middle of his contemplation is Shukadev describing an important Krishna Tattva topic, the nature of Krishna, the nature of his being impartial and partial, of his being neutral, equal to everyone, and favorable to the devotee. So we've been hearing a lot about that. And this verse, 10:38:22, is also referenced in a couple of other places, and then we'll move on. In Chaitanya Bhagavat, biography of Lord Chaitanya's life, Madhyakanda, it says, all scriptures declare Krishna is the friend of all. Therefore no one is hated or neglected by Krishna. Sri Krishna is the only maintainer of all universes of animate and inanimate beings, and has been ascertained by all scriptures as the supreme shelter and only benefactor of all living entities. That is why no one is a proper candidate for Krishna's hatred or negligence. That's from the living entities side toward Krishna. Since all creatures are constitutionally eternal servants of Krishna, they are all recipients of his mercy or compassion. The phrase Sakala Suhrit, Sakala Suhrit, means all auspicious. As stated, Sarvesham Hitakari Ya Sa Syat Sarva Subhankara, or an all auspicious person is he who is engaged in the welfare of everyone. That no one is hated or neglected by Krishna is explained in Srimad Bhagavatam 10:38-22, wherein Shukadeva Goswami explains in the following words to Maharaj Parikshit the thoughts of Akrura as he approached Gokula. Translation reads, the Supreme Lord has no favorite and no dearmost friend, nor does he consider anyone undesirable, despicable, or fit to be neglected. At all the same, he lovingly reciprocates with his devotee in whatever manner they worship him, just as the trees of heaven fulfill the desires of whoever approaches them. In Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Dakshina Vibhaga, Chapter 1, it is stated by Uddhava, after Krishna departs for his own abode. So this is a quote from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. It's quoting Canto 3, Chapter 2, Uddhava's talk with Vidura. Translation, who has not been benefited by that Lord Sri Hari, who has destroyed all inimical kings and pleased the self-satisfied sages and pious persons by glorifying their qualities, and who also satisfied those inimical kings by personally killing them on the battlefield. That is, they became liberated. Same text, Chaitanya Bhagavat, but in another section, Antya Kanda, final section. Again, references being made to this verse 10:38-22. As the devotee worships the lotus feet of Krishna, Krishna reciprocates with that servant in a similar way. Sounds like a Bhagavad Gita verse, right? Yetamam prapadyante. But it's speaking on this one. And it mentions 4:11 also. The nature of the Supreme Lord is that he is affectionate to his devotees. Who has the power to change that nature? Lord Krishna's eternal ashraya vigrahas, or manifestations of the Lord, of whom one must take shelter, and their separated parts and parcels, all worship him in one of the 5 varieties of rasas. Krishna accepts their service according to how they serve him. Since the Mayavadis, who are devoid of rasa, and the materialistic karmis cannot understand the Supreme Lord, they are misguided, as if seated on a machine. In Bhagavad Gita 4:11, the Lord declares, and we all know this verse, Yeyatamam prapadyante tangstadaiva pajamyaham mama vartmanu vartante manusya partha sarvashaha. As they surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects, O son of Pritha. The same is stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 10:38-22. Same verse. The Supreme Lord has no favorite and no dearmost friend, nor does he consider anyone undesirable, despicable, or fit to be neglected. At the same time, he lovingly reciprocates with his devotees in whatever manner they worship him, just as the trees of heaven fulfill the desires of whoever approach them. And the last reference is from a writing Raghava Pandit Goswami. Raghava Pandit is spoken of in a writing that comes after Lord Chaitanya's Lila conclude. Bhakti Ratnakar it's called. It's an anthology of personalities that are related to Lord Chaitanya but not contemporaries. So Raghava Pandit is one. Raghava Pandit is one of the things that he lived in Vrindavan. Those of you that have been to Vrindavan, or when you do go to Vrindavan, you can take note where he made his residence. Govardhan Hill runs north and south. And generally when we begin Govardhan Parikrama, we start on the east side and go down to the southern tip of Govardhan and then back up the other side, the western side. So Raghava Pandit's residence was in a cave. He chanted in a cave so he wouldn't get distracted. I mean, you chant in a cave doesn't mean you won't get distracted, but it reduces distraction. So he is known for taking the devotees, associates of Lord Chaitanya, on pilgrimage or prikrama around the holy places of Vrindavan. That's part of Bhakti Ratnakar, Raghava Pandit. So he wrote a book, Sri Hari Bhakti Prakash. Bhakti Prakash, the light or the effulgence of bhakti. So this is from that book. The Lord then said to the demigods, quote, "These 2 hairs will descend to the earth and remove the earth's burden of distress." There is the doubt. The devotees of the Lord reply, this statement of the Vishnu Purana is couched in general words and does not specifically name Lord Krishna as the incarnation of Vishnu's hairs. Sri Krishna is the origin of everything. He appears only by his own will. Everything that exists has been expanded from him. From whom was he expanded? He was not expanded from anyone else. Paragraph. In the statement, quote, these two hairs will descend to the earth and remove the earth's burden of distress, unquote. The two incarnations are Lord Vishnu and Lord Balaram. It is Lord Vishnu who, in charge of maintaining the material creation, killed the demons and removed the earth's burden. Lord Krishna himself does not kill the demons. It's the Vishnu feature of Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam says, quote, no one is especially dear to Lord Krishna. No one is his special friend. No one is dear to him. No one is his enemy. No one is ignored by him. He sees everyone with an equal eye. Paragraph. Furthermore, Sri Krishna Chandra is beyond the grip of the material energy and its three modes. He is perfectly situated in transcendental bliss. Therefore, the dual number in the word mat keshau, or my two hairs, refers to Lord Vishnu and Lord Balaram. Srimad Bhagavatam 10.2.13 describes the meaning of Lord Balaram's name in the following words. This is prayers by the demigods to Krishna in the womb. Lord Balaram will be called Rama because of his ability to please all the inhabitants of Gokula. And he will be known as Balabhadra because of his extensive physical strength, but it's actually spiritual strength. Because it can be used for destruction, physical strength is connected with the mode of ignorance. In Govinda Vrindavana Shastra, Lord Balaram says to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, quote, because of your illusory potency, I am overcome by the mode of ignorance. O Lord of the universe, I do not understand the truth about you. A little confusing, huh? Continuing from the same text, at this point someone may say, if Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who manifests his form by his own wish, who is the all-pervading Supersoul, who does not have to perform any action to accomplish any goal, is equal to everyone, as Bhagavatam 10:38-22 affirms in the words, no one is especially dear to Sri Krishna, no one is his special friend, no one is not dear to him, no one is his enemy, no one is ignored by him, he sees everyone with an equal eye. Then, why did he kill Putana, Shakatasura, Trinavarta, Agasura, Bakasura, and a host of other demons? Why is this? Please hear from me the reason. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna Chandra, sees everyone with an equal eye. He does not have to perform any action to accomplish anything he desires. He is full of nectar. He did not kill anyone. Srila Shukadeva Goswami says, Bhagavatam 10:29-15, if one somehow or other becomes attracted to Krishna through lust, anger, fear, affection, or friendship, we discussed this, remember? It's this 5 different ways of getting salvation. Then one's salvation and freedom from material contamination is assured. He wasn't inimical when he killed them, he liberated them. He wanted to, and he did. Reciprocating with their fixing their mind upon him. Okay, so now that's that's the end of the commentaries on text 22. We're moving on to 1038.23. The translation reads, this is Akrura's contemplation on his way to Vrindavan. He sees Krishna and so many things, exchanges with Krishna, and then Lord Krishna's elder brother, the foremost of the Yadus, will grasp my joined hands. While I am still standing with my head bowed, and after embracing me, he will take me to his house. There he will honor me with all items of ritual welcome and inquire from me also about how Kamsa has been treating his family members. No BBT purport. Here's Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Will Balaram, his elder brother, take me with folded hands by his right hand and lead me into his house to speak with him, and after finishing his acts of hospitality, Sat Kritam, inquire about how Kamsa has been treating his family members? Jiva Goswami writes, since I am related to the great devotee Vasudeva, Krishna will show me great friendship. Thinking in this way and getting some relief, he develops yet another desire. Jiva Goswami is commenting in this way, all these verses. He has escalating anticipations. This desire, that desire, the next one, the next one, the next one. So this is the next one. Will his elder brother perhaps embrace me? He is the best friend, since he is a relative. Akrura folds his hands in humility, because he is the elder brother. Balaram will take my folded hands and lead me to his house. Balaram will smile, since his mind is pleased. When the hospitality has been completed, then a further development takes place with questions about the actions of Kamsa against Vasudeva and others. And Balaram will expect details. Here's a clue. His intention here is, Akrura's intention here is, by making Balaram favorable, I will be able to take Krishna to Mathura. It's diplomacy. It's love. And it's diplomacy. We'll discuss this shortly. Sanatan Goswami, in his commentary, this is the final one. Akrura expresses his desire for the mercy of Balaram, who is clearly his relative, the son of Vasudeva, for he thinks Krishna as the son of Nanda. It would be impossible for him to get Krishna's mercy, since he is most attached to the cowherds and gopis. Krishna's mercy is most difficult to obtain. Since Balaram is elder, Aga Jaha, if he gives mercy, then Krishna will follow his example as a younger brother. I will bow down with attention. Paragraph. Balaram was famous as the son of Vasudeva, Yadutama. Balaram will be smiling because he is pleased in his mind. As an elder brother, he will welcome Akrura to the house as a guest. We will ask what Kamsa has done to Vasudeva and other relatives, since He is the best of the Yadus. Consulting with him, I will be able to bring Krishna from there to Mathura. From there is Vrindavan. So his house is with Rohini. The Rohini, as we know, she was placed in Vrindavan by Vasudeva, because Rohini is also one of the wives. When Krishna married Devaki, there were several sisters who were also married at the same time to Vasudeva. She was the elder and prominent, and so we hear all about Devaki. But Rohini was one of the sisters also. And when Rohini became pregnant in Mathura, Vasudeva sent Devaki to be under the care of his dear friend Nanda, because he just didn't trust Kamsa. So Devaki was under Nanda's care, and Balaram was born there. There's some other details, but he was born as the son of Rohini Nandana. Krishna and Balaram, they're eternally associated as brothers and dearmost friends, both. And so they were, growing up, they were constant companions. Constant companions. In all circumstances, in childhood and after, constant companions. So he would anticipate seeing them in the pasturing ground, and the elder brother Balaram will show the lead. Now, our acharyas explain that during the childhood pastimes of Krishna, more prominent than the elder brother role was friend. They were like equals. But here, at least, Akrura is emphasizing the elder brother role. As the elder brother, he'll take the lead. And there's diplomacy. And that is, he has a mission on behalf of Kamsa. And he's really a very good minister. Good ministers know diplomacy. They know how to get a task done, smoothly and effectively. That's his role. He's in a ministerial capacity. I'm going to read to you some verses when Kamsa calls Akrura and asks him to go bring Krishna. This comes in chapter 36, 2 chapters before this one. Narada visits Kamsa. Kamsa receives Narada very nicely, seated on an elevated seat. Narada says, "You pleased me very much. I'm going to tell you a little secret." You remember that voice from the sky that said, "The 8th child of Devaki will kill you"? I'm sure you remember that one. Well, that 8th child is over there in Gokula, in Vrindavan. Because Vasudeva said he would give you all of the sons, but he deceived you. He took that 8th child of Devaki and took Devaki to the other side of the river Jamuna. So that 8th child, that's that little boy, Gopal. So do the needful. Protect your backside. So And with that idea, then Kamsa made some plans. First, his ministers sending some demons. Then he called for Akrura. And when he called for Akrura, here's the text starting 27, 10:36:27 through 31. Kamsa next called for Akrura, the most eminent of the Yadus. Kamsa knew the art of securing personal advantage, and thus he took Akrura's hand in his own and spoke to him as follows. "Oh, my dear Akrura, most charitable one, please do me a friendly favor out of respect. Among the Bhojas and Vrishnis, there is no one else as kind to us as you. Gentle Akrura, you always carry on your duties soberly, and therefore I'm depending on you. Just as powerful Indra took shelter of Lord Vishnu to achieve his goals, please go to Nanda's village, where the two sons of Anakandundubi are living." Anakandundubi is one of the names of Vasudeva. So he's disclosing to Akrura that he knows that the real father is not Nanda, but the real father is Vasudeva. Please go to Nanda's village where the two sons of Anakandundubi are living, and without delay bring them here on this chariot. Commentary says he gestures to the chariot. It's like a Rolls-Royce chariot. It's really spiffy, new, shiny, thinking, like himself. He'll be attracted to material opulence. It's like a really opulent chariot, so he'll like it. The demigods who are under the protection of Vishnu have sent these two boys as my death. Bring them here, and also have Nanda and the other cowherd men come with gifts of tribute. Then he explains the whole deal. The plan is to have a festival with brahmanas and this and that, and festival, and so Nanda, the king of the cowherds over there, under my rule, he should come too. Bring gifts, because it's a festival. Brahmanas chanting mantras, and it's going to be a nice party. Why did he call Akrura? And it says here, and the commentary explains, he's a very calculating person. He understood that someone from the Yadu dynasty is more likely to be successful in bringing Krishna and Nanda to Mathura. And so he's the best of ministers amongst the Yadu clan. He's really, really expert. He knows how to be a good minister. Very clever, very intelligent. So we heard in his prayers, not prayers, they're just contemplations on the way, Krishna will know, because he's omniscient, he'll know that I'm coming on behalf of Kamsa. And Kamsa's a bad guy. So, maybe he won't like me. Maybe he'll have this ill regard. That's where he's neutral to everybody. And he's omniscient, so he'll know that I'm not on doing Kamsa's errand. At the same time, he wants Krishna to go to Mathura to kill Kamsa. I mean, he's all-knowing. I mean, he has bhakti, so he knows things that ordinary people don't know. He's not a sage. He's a householder. But he understands Krishna's identity. He understands Krishna's mission. He wants Krishna to kill Kamsa. At the same time, he understands Krishna is really attached, and Krishna is really attached to Vrindavan. Narada understood it because before Kamsa came, it was the very same morning Kamsa arrived in the evening. Narada spoke to Krishna in the morning, and Narada had the same concern. Krishna is really attached, transcendentally attached to Vrindavan, and the residents of Vrindavan. Is going to be tough to get him to finish the other purposes for his incarnation. And Akrura, same thing. Krishna is really attached, and the residents of Vrindavan are very attached. So he had to have a strategy. Narada had his, and Akrura had his. Akrura's strategy was the elder brother. If I win the favor of the elder brother, he'll come, and he'll get his younger brother to come because his younger brother will follow his elder brother. It was diplomacy with Krishna. But it's with pure devotion. It's for service to Krishna. It's not manipulating Krishna or controlling Krishna or getting something for his own interest. Any more than when Narada came. It wasn't Narada's self-interest to do what Narada did. It was Krishna's interest. And he played, an important, very important drama-changing function, because Krishna's been in Vrindavan enjoying with his eternal associates in Vrindavan, in his Prakat Lila. And now it's time for the rest of his Lila. So he, Narada, was doing that function, and Akrura is doing that function, and both of them using diplomacy. So normally, for devotees, diplomacy is not good. It's something we want to avoid. We want to be straightforward. In this circumstance, we're finding there are other circumstances also in Scripture. But here's Narada and Akrura being diplomatic for service to Krishna, for the pleasure of Krishna, knowing that Krishna will be pleased, not otherwise. I mean, could it have happened some other way? Sure, it could have happened some other way, because Krishna wanted it to happen. Then he's just engaging he's engaging Akrura in ways that Akrura is gifted. Just like he's engaging Arjuna in fighting, or is engaging every one of us in ways that are suited for our nature. So Akrura has this capacity. Akrura is a special devotee. He's a bit of a puzzle. I mean, the biggest puzzle with Akrura was his implication in the death of Satyajit. It's a big puzzle. But there was a function that he was playing, and it's even explaining the puzzle, it's still a puzzle. He was cursed by the gopis because he took Krishna from Vrindavan, and so they cursed him that you'll also have to experience this pang of separation from Krishna. And that's one of the reasons why the whole Shamantaka jewel incident took place, because he had to leave Dwarka. It's very, it's perplexing, not easy to understand. But he's a pure devotee. He's a pure devotee, and he's a pure devotee, and he's a pure devotee. So how can a pure devotee be involved in a murder conspiracy? It wasn't just like battle, like Arjuna engaging in battle. It was a murder conspiracy. And moreover, the person who was killed was Krishna's father-in-law. A murder conspiracy for the father-in-law of the Supreme Lord. It's perplexing. It's not easy to understand. But he's a pure devotee. His position is not compromised because he was doing what pure devotees do. They do according to the indication of Krishna from within their heart. When there's a really nice section, which we'll get to in a little while, when Krishna gets to Mathura, and after killing Kamsa and installing Ugrasena on the throne again, then Krishna starts visiting some places in Mathura. And one of the places he visits is Akrura's place. And Akrura is speaking again, this super elevated disclosure of his understanding of Krishna's divinity. It's not, he doesn't miss a beat. He's very Krishna conscious. Different in mood than the residents of Vrindavan, but he's a very elevated devotee of Krishna. And yet he did this, murder conspiracy thing. It's not so different. It's different, but it's not so different from what Bhishma Dev did, taking the side of Duryodhana. I mean, there's differences, but ultimately it's super soul guiding the activities of his pure devotee to help enhance his pastimes for his pleasure. So Krishna can teach us things and engage in loving relationships with his devotees in different ways. Krishna's pastimes are mysterious. In some cases, the activities of his pure devotees are just as mysterious. Anyway, I'm just going off a little bit about Akrura, but he gets a lot of attention here, all these verses in a row of his meditation on meeting Krishna. And then after that, when Krishna's leaving, they showing him the spiritual world. Akrura's a special person. Not easy to understand person. Pure devotee. If he didn't do that murder conspiracy thing, it would take the cloud away. Because otherwise it's like really clean. Although he caused displeasure to the residents of Vrindavan. He was the instrument for that. No, it was Krishna's plan. So he doesn't get faulted for being part of Krishna's plan. Still, the residents of Vrindavan, they didn't feel good. Okay, so let's see if there's some discussion on this morning's topic or unrelated, whatever you like. Yes?
So when we are dealing with the devotees, we are straightforward, but sometimes we have to pay the duplicity dealing with our work or with a new people. What we are trying to get them into the Krishna consciousness, like we have to talk to them diplomatically in some way. So,
Well, diplomacy and deception are different.
Sorry, Madam.
Diplomacy is one thing. Deception is not the same as diplomacy.
Yeah. Means like for example, if something happens, wrong happens in the work, we need to tell that instead of telling the truth, I need to tell that in a diplomatic way.
Yeah, instead of telling the truth, you speak the truth in a diplomatic way. That's a big distinction in language. In the workplace, it's not that you're carrying a license because wherever you got the license from, that you cannot speak the truth because it wouldn't be palatable if I speak the truth. So you speak the truth palatably, and how to do that is not so easy to understand sometimes. But we don't depart from the truth. Diplomacy doesn't mean departing from truth.
Naguru Maharaj. Uh, this question is from yesterday's morning class. Um, you were describing Krishna's compassion, and at some point I understood, like you also said, the devotees also have compassion because Krishna has it. So, my question is, even with the devotees, they're very kind, compassionate. My question is, if they haven't gone through some suffering, uh, will they be able to understand the suffering of someone? I understand the spiritual suffering, but something that very specifically somebody is going through, um, will devotees be able to? I mean, uh, does devotees' compassion encompass that somebody is going through something? Will they be able to understand?
Well, I'm thinking of two things in hearing your question. As mentioned yesterday, a man will never know the discomfort of childbirth. Now, that doesn't mean that a man can't, guess by various means. This is a very uncomfortable experience for the mother that's giving birth to the child. But the 100% experience isn't going to be there. Compassion, yes, but not 100%. On the rule that if you've never experienced that discomfort. And I'm thinking there was a situation that happened some years ago. A devotee had kidney stones, and he was sharing with me how painful it was. And there was a third party hearing us, and it was a woman who had given birth to two boys. And she said, I was very surprised. She said, I've had kidney stones, and it's more painful than giving birth to a child. No, that was her experience. So this man has never experienced giving birth to a child, but he had kidney stones. So he has at least some idea. Now, I've had neither, so I can only relate to, gosh, it must be very painful. But, the degree and the nature and because I'm sure it's different for different persons. That's for mothers, some mothers and some other mothers, and some kidney stones, some other kidney stones. But so there's compassion is possible. Going back to what we heard yesterday, compassion is possible, even you've not experienced, but it's not a 100% compassion. And because it's one of the preambles of your question was because Krishna is compassionate and he hasn't experienced any suffering, he's compassionate nonetheless because he's all-knowing and all-powerful. Now, devotees aren't all-knowing and all-powerful, but being part and parcel of Krishna, then at least at the soul level, there's some capacity for compassion for spiritual suffering and material suffering. So it's kind of gray, not one of those black and white situations. Compassion is natural for the soul. A devotee will feel compassion, but it's not the same as having gone through that difficulty oneself. It's not the 100% kind. Okay?
I have another question,
Okay.
Maharaj, and this is off topic. When we were reading chapter 4 in Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada says all the incarnations, we have to accept what is given in the scriptures. And he also mentions that not all the incarnations have taken place in India, and it can be in anywhere. So one devotee was asking me, like, is there any reference for any incarnation outside of India?
In the heavenly planets. The Lord appears from time to time in the heavenly planets, but not on Earth and other places. Okay.
Mm. So Akrura feeling that no, I'm going on the mission of Kamsa, so I'll be misunderstood by Krishna. Um, will I get a favor of Krishna? Sometimes it so happens, no, when things are happening, um, maybe I'll feel that Krishna will not like this, so he will not like me. But as Akrura is saying that no, immediately his thought went, he is equal to everyone. No, he doesn't have any enemy or a friend. So uh, of course that thought will come. Krishna is all kind and merciful, though I am no being so stupid, but still he will show his mercy. But the the first thing when I feel that no, what Krishna will feel about me, is that lack of faith or?
It can be, doesn't have to be. You can be like Akrura. Doesn't have to be. And it can fluctuate from time to time as well. Anything else? Do we have some online questions? Yes. It's part of Lila. Okay. Thank you very much, Prabhupada Ki Jai.